Did your family ever team up to pull a prank that left you questioning reality? When I was a kid, my family had this knack for turning ordinary days into full-on psychological thrillers. I'm talking about the kind of pranks that make you doubt your own sanity. One time, when I was about 8, my dad and older brother pulled off a stunt that had me convinced our house was haunted. Spoiler, it wasn't, but they sure had me fooled. It was a lazy Saturday morning, probably around 1995, and I was glued to the TV in our living room, watching my usual lineup of cartoons, Animaniacs, or some other classic. The setup was typical, me sprawled on the carpet, 2 feet from the screen, completely zoned out. My dad was outside washing his beat-up old Ford, the kind of car that looked like it had seen better days in the 80s. My older brother, James, who was about 14 and always up to no good, told me he was heading to his buddy's house down the street. Curated, said, slamming the front door behind him. Or so I thought. What I didn't know was that James had swiped my parents' universal remote from their bedroom before he left. That thing was like the holy grail of our house. Nobody touched it without permission. He'd hatched a plan with Dad, who was apparently all too happy to play along. I mean, my dad, Robert, was usually the serious type, always tinkering with something or yelling at us to mow the lawn. But when it came to messing with me, he was all in. So there I am, engrossed in my cartoons, when the TV suddenly shuts off. Just poof, black screen. I blinked, confused, and looked around. The remote was sitting on the coffee table, untouched. Weird, I muttered, figuring it was a glitch. Our TV was old, the kind with the dial that clicked when you changed channels. So I leaned forward, pressed the power button, and settled back in. The cartoons flickered back on, and I forgot about it. A couple of minutes later, the channels started flipping. Like fast. 1 second I'm watching Yakko saying about the nations of the world, and the next it's some infomercial about a vegetable chopper. Then static, then a soap opera. I froze. What the hell? I whispered. Yeah, I was 8, but I'd heard James curse plenty. Then the TV shut off again. I grabbed the remote, mashed the power. Button nothing. I turned it on manually, and it worked for maybe 30 seconds before the channels went haywire again. Then, black screen. My heart was pounding now. I wasn't a superstitious kid, but this was freaky. I turned the TV back on, and it stayed on for a bit before shutting off again. By this point, I'm thinking there's a ghost in the house. I mean, what else could it be? I bolted outside to find my dad, who was calmly hosing down the car, acting like nothing was wrong. Dad, the TV's going nuts. You gotta come see this. I yelled, practically dragging him inside. He followed me, wiping his hands on his jeans, probably hiding a smirk. We got to the living room, and, of course, the TV was back on, playing my cartoons like nothing had happened. I made him stand there for a solid 5 minutes, waiting for the ghost to strike again. Nothing. He gave me this look like, kid, you're losing it, and said, it's probably just the wiring. Don't worry about it. Then he walked out, leaving me staring at the screen, half expecting it to explode. The second he was gone, it started again. Channels flipping, TV shutting off, then back on. I tried unplugging it, but when I plug it back in, the same crap happened. I was done. I ran outside, refusing to go back in the house. I'm standing in the driveway, heart racing, convinced we got a poltergeist situation, when James strolls around the corner of the house, laughing his ass off, holding the universal remote like it's a trophy. Turns out he'd been crouched outside the living room window the whole time, pointing that damn remote through the glass. Dad was in on it, probably chuckling to himself while pretending to wash the car. I was pissed, but honestly, I was also impressed. They got me good. And yeah, I carried on the family tradition of terrorizing my younger siblings. A few years later, when my little brother, Ethan, was about 5, I decided it was his turn. One night, after he'd gone to bed, I snuck into his room and slid under his bed. I waited there for a solid 30 minutes, barely breathing, until I was sure he was drifting off. Then I started making these low, guttural noises like something out of a horror movie.